The spring equinox is when the sun crosses the equator line heading north in the sky. And during the equinox, there's an equal amount of daylight and darkness. So, therefore, the day and the night are equally balanced. And so, tonight, with the spring equinox approaching, I thought it would be nice to focus on the theme of balance. And creating a sense of balance in our daily lives is such a beneficial way to cultivate resilience. There are so many ways in which we may feel out of balance. Sometimes our minds are pulled in so many different directions. I'm sure you may have experienced this before, whether it's thinking about the past or thinking about the future, and this can make us feel off balance. And mindfulness is a powerful and positive way to help us meet our experience of daily life with more clarity, with less stress, and a greater sense of balance. Mindfulness really helps our minds from being pulled into many different directions, as it helps us to remain present in the moment and really allows us to focus on the task at hand. Also, in life, we juggle multiple roles. We may be a partner, a parent, an employer, employee, a sibling, a child, or volunteer, just to name a few. There are so many roles, and we often have multiple roles in our lives. And with the demands of a fast paced life, these roles may be out of balance. We may find ourselves spending more time working, maybe, than we are dedicating to our children or family, or perhaps we find ourselves spending much more time with our children than with our partners or spouse. And so, mindfulness provides the mental clarity to recognize what might need to change. And with this awareness, we can make the necessary shift to cultivate a greater sense of balance in our daily lives. We may also be out of balance with how much time we dedicate to others in comparison to the time that we take for ourselves. And this is something that can become detrimental to our own self care and ultimately our own health and our own well being. And again, mindfulness allows us to see things clearly, to recognize this. And when we recognize this, we can take action. Doing practices like tonight's weekly meditation is such a wonderful way to incorporate more self care into your daily life if you feel that your self care practices are lacking. And so, what I mentioned are just a few of the very many ways that our lives may feel or be out of balance. It's important to remember that things do ebb and flow. So sometimes work will take up more of our time, and other times family may need to take up more of our time. But we can intentionally cultivate a sense of balance. And this does not mean that we have to dedicate an equal amount of hours for each role or each aspect of our life. Rather, it means that we have a vision for our quality of life and that we take action in all of these areas to achieve it. That's cultivating true balance right there. And so, with that, I'd like to move us now into our formal meditation practice. And so, I just invite you to allow the eyes to close or to soften the gaze. And as you do this and begin to settle in, I'd like to begin with this quote by Euripides. The best and safest thing is to keep a balance in your life. If you can do that and live that way, you are really wise. And so, with that, continuing to settle into your seat, maybe noticing the feet making contact with the floor, sensing into this contact, this connectedness with the earth beneath the feet. And then maybe noticing the sits bones resting on the seat. Maybe feeling supported or held by the seat in some way. Or maybe finding a little extra length in the spine, reaching through the crown of the head. Maybe inviting a softening in the muscles of the face if that feels right. And as you continue to settle, perhaps becoming aware of the fact that breath is happening, the body is breathing, and just gently resting the awareness on the breath in the body. Just staying with the breath in the body as best you can. Following one breath in and one breath out. Another breath in and another breath out. And just continuing to stay with the breath in this way. Following along the breath that breathes itself. And perhaps sensing a balance in the breath. A balance in how there is an inhalation in which we breathe in nourishing air, and how there is an exhalation in which we breathe out what the body does not need. Or maybe sensing into how our breath is balanced with nature. The trees release oxygen, which is what we need to nourish our bodies. And then we release CO2, which the trees need to nourish themselves. This balance of nature and life. Balance can show up in so many ways in our lives. And now I invite you to take a moment to reflect on what aspects of life are important to you. What areas or elements of life are most meaningful to you? What contributes to you living your best life? What contributes to you leading your greatest quality of life? And perhaps it's being a supportive partner, a contributing member of society. Maybe it's being adventurous or being an understanding father. Or perhaps it's dedicating time for your own self care. Just taking some time to reflect on the very many aspects of your life that collectively create a life of well being for you. Just continuing to reflect on the many roles and areas of your life that make up a life that contribute to your well being. And do any of these roles or areas of your life feel unbalanced at the moment? If so, what feels unbalanced? What is it that feels unbalanced? Perhaps you are spending too much time watching TV and eating unhealthy snacks, and you value your health. It's an important factor that contributes to your well being. Or maybe you've been working late and have not spent as much time with your children as you would like to. Or maybe you've been dedicating your time taking care of a sick family member and have had no time for your own personal self care. So, just taking some time to reflect on any areas of your life that might be out of balance. What might be out of balance? What is out of balance? And once you've recognized what might be out of balance for you, maybe acknowledging that this is difficult. Maybe acknowledging that this is hard. This is tough. And maybe recognizing that other people feel this way too. There are others who struggle to find balance in their lives. There are others who feel out of balance. Recognizing that you are not alone in this. And now perhaps placing a hand over your heart or any other soothing place on your body. And maybe offering yourself some encouraging words. What do you need to hear right now? And perhaps it's, may I give myself the compassion that I need? Or may I be kind to myself? So, just taking a moment to offer yourself some encouraging words, some words of kindness. And now, from this compassionate place, reflecting on how you might be able to incorporate greater balance into your life in regards to these specific areas. So, for instance, if you've been spending too much time eating unhealthy snacks and watching too much TV, maybe you schedule daily walks in the afternoons before you sit on the couch. Or if you're working too late and have not spent as much time as you would like with your children, maybe you dedicate more time on the weekends to participate in meaningful activities and quality time with one another. Or if you've been dedicating your time to caring for a sick family member, maybe you schedule some self care time in your week, marking your calendar once a week for an hour where you do something just for yourself, maybe making an appointment or date with yourself. So, just taking some time now to reflect on how you might be able to bring some more balance to the situation. How might you be able to bring some more balance into your life? Just reflecting on this. And now envisioning what it might feel like to have more balance in this area of your life. What would it feel like to have a greater sense of balance in this area of your life? What would it feel like to have a greater sense of balance in all areas of your life? What would that be like? What would that feel like? And perhaps using this feeling as a motivation to put your ideas of cultivating greater balance into action. Using this feeling these feelings you feel right now as a springboard for taking the actions necessary to move towards the balance you wish to see in your life. And with that, I'd like to invite you back to the breath in the body. Coming back to the rise and the fall of the breath. This ebb and this flow. Continuing to stay with the breath cycle, the in breath and the out breath. And I'm going to read a poem, Balance, by Anonymous. Find a point that is centered, that makes your life complete. As you encounter challenge, don't think about retreat. It depends not on others. You find it there inside when you can look at yourself and feel a sense of pride. Love may seem elusive, but it needs to start with you. As you turn your focus inward, you will learn what you must do. It is there you discover balance, the key to being free. This time of self-discovery, you'll learn who you can be. And so just taking a moment to allow these words, this poem to settle. Maybe letting these words land, however they land for you. And in a moment, I'm going to ring the bell, which will conclude this formal portion of our meditation practice this evening. And as I do, just seeing if it's possible to stay with the sound, allowing the sound to be part of your practice this evening, part of the meditation. And when you're ready, beginning to wiggle the fingers and the toes, allowing the eyes to open if they've been closed. Maybe taking any movements that you might need to take in this moment, just honoring what it is that your body needs.